Today we have to choose one of the grand companies based on hearing the 3 Remembrance services. Which one should we pick? Welcome, friends, to a new episode of Final Fantasy Online. We are heading to New Gridania today to get ourselves over to speak with or hear in the amphitheater about the things that are going on for the grand companies. We need to head over to Old Gridania to reach our destination. So, we've reached Old Gridania. Fantastic. So, we are here. And we need to get over to the amphitheater. So there is a Aether right here, so let's get that, and we're gonna catch this one too because we don't have them yet, and I tried to port there and it wouldn't let me, so we might as well attune to these while we're here. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, we can't attune to those ones. They're the small ones within inside of the deal. That's okay. I probably should have went to that one and then came over here. It's all good. We're fine. It's right around the corner. It's not very far. Okay. Oh, here we go. Look at this. Here's the amphitheater. This looks good. Okay. Perfect. We are waiting. Here we go.
I lost my son to the calamity.
The 3 seed seers are all together.
Some say you couldn't take a step without stumbling over a body. Our forebears were once strangers in the 12's Wood. Fearful of the green wrath, they hid themselves in the dark recesses of the earth. Yet they dreamed of basking in the dappled sunlight of the forest. Through great effort, they proved their worth to the elementals, and were granted a place beneath the boughs. So it was that Gridania was born, some 5 centuries ago. Working hand in hand, the Hyur and the Elysian settlers sowed the seeds of our civilization, and soon they were joined by folk of all races. So nourished by the waters of unity, and blessed by the light of the matron, Gridania flourished into the great nation it is today.
Do you see the Gridanian standard? There, hanging behind the Elder Seed Seer. The entwined serpents represent the unity between Hyur and Elysian. An elegant symbol, do you not agree?
In accordance with the will of the elementals, we have embraced a life of peace. Alas, our neighbors have not always sought the same for themselves. Nor, though we Gridanians have no love for war, we have still less for those who would threaten our way of life. Ever have we fought to protect the sanctity of the 12's Wood. When the Garlean Empire brought its war of conquest to Eorzea, we rallied under the noble standard of the Twin Adder that we might push back the encroaching darkness. And it was we who prepared the ground for the reformation of the Eorzean Alliance, that all the peoples of this realm might stand united against the common threat.
Nice speech. Wants peace. Doesn't want to fight unless you have to.
The Alliance met the armies of the Empire upon the fields of Cartano. It would prove the bloodiest battle in recent memory. Countless Gridanian lives were lost. As Supreme Commander of the Order of the Twin Adder, ever shall I bear the weight of our people's sacrifice. Alas, their loss was not the only tragedy to befall us that day, for soon came the calamity. The scars borne by our forest are a constant reminder of its violence. Our lives have been irrevocably changed, each waking hour a struggle to survive. Driven to desperation, some among us have strayed from the path of righteousness, resorting to banditry, poaching, and other unconscionable deeds. To compound our woes, the Ixal have returned in force, emboldened by our suffering. They test our defenses nigh without cease, and prey upon the vulnerable. So beleaguered from within and without, it is of little wonder that our unity now falters. Dark times are upon us.
Time was a man could walk the high roads without fear.
On this day, 5 years ago, countless Eorzeans laid down their lives that we might behold another dawn. Please join with me in honoring their memory.
And how do you propose to honor the memory of those you cannot remember, pray tell?
The destruction wrought by the calamity was indiscriminate. It dealt death to Eorzean and Garlean alike. Yet while we have labored to rebuild our homes, to rebuild our lives, the Empire has set about raising steel fortresses here in the Twelveswood. Let none be mistaken. The Garleans remain the greatest threat to our survival. If we are to stand against them, we must remember what it is to be united. Our many troubles blind us to the woes of our fellow man. Thence is harmony lost. Yet harmony is the founding principle of Gridania. We are gathered here to honor the fallen. Let them be honored not only in word and thought, but through concerted action. I bid you, join hands with me once more beneath the Twin Adder standard. And together, let us heal the forest's wounds, that our progeny might live in harmony beneath these ancient boughs. For serenity, purity, and sanctity. We must think of the children!
Woods will be done.
It's up to us to protect the forest. All the elementals!
Interesting, interesting. Okay. That was the Twin Adder, Gridania's Grand Company. Very compelling.
If you'll permit me, Alfie no. And my sister, Alize, at your service. I saw at a glance that you were a fellow traveler. You might call us students of history, sampling the realm's remembrances in pursuit of enlightenment.
The Gridanians are unfortunate enough to have to contend with two beast tribes. The Ixil are unquestionably more troublesome, being a naturally warlike disposition, and wont to summon the bloodthirsty primal Garuda. The Sylphs by contrast, are peaceful in nature, but mischievous rather than malevolent, and have long been on friendly terms with the Gridanians, until recently at least. Alas, they have grown aloof and changed observed at roughly the time they summoned the primal Ramo. The Gridanians have no love for war, and they consider open conflict a last resort. I like that. Though they clash with the Ixal ever more regularly, you may be assured that they do so in self-defense. As for the Sylphs, they are as yet bound by a peace treaty, though no one wonders how long it will be before it's broken. The Twelveswood was grievously wounded during the calamity, leaving Gridania vulnerable to attack. The people are hopeful that restoring the wood, and therefore the power of the elements, will put an end to their woes. Yet how long will that take? Centuries, I wager? Meanwhile, the Ixal will continue their incursions, spurred on by Garuda and her insatiable appetite for destruction. Whether the Gridanians like it or not, sooner or later it will come to all-out war, and when it does, the Order of the Twin Adder will need the help it can muster. How valuable might the aid of a capable adventurer prove to them then? It's a good point. I don't know. We're going to find out, I would assume. They've got really cool hairstyles. I like those. And I like their outfits too. I wish I could get an outfit like that. That would be sweet. Okay, we've reached Ul'dah, and we are here for this Grand Company presentation. Let's see what this is all about.
Behold, 'tis the Sultana Nanimal herself!
And Roban as well!
Hark you, souls of flame, drawn to the bosom of the desert, where the fire burns brightest and shall rage forevermore. Hurrah! Roban! Where since antiquity, under the sage and judicious rule of the Ul dynasty, we have wrought sand into gold, where by the grace and glory of Nalthal have our brave sons and daughters flourished and prospered. I speak of Ul'dah!
There, at the Flame General's back flies the Grand Company's standard. Note the sigil. The golden scales of order balance the jewel of prosperity with the flame of might.
Great and many are the gifts our nation has given the realm. In Eorzea's darkest hour, on the killing fields of Cartano, none spent more in blood and gold than we. Thus was the 7th Imperial Legion laid low.
So that's how it happened. How soon history forgets.
Yet many left our gates, never to return. Let us pray for our absent brothers and sisters, that they might know happiness in the great beyond, as Thal's honored guests. If the fates were fair, the price we paid that day would have bought us victory. Alas, they are not. And now, but 5 years into this 7th Umbral era, the spirit of sacrifice which granted us our strength is all but dead. Look around you. What do you see? A people divided, downtrodden and enthralled. Where are the merciful alms of the rich? Where is the just steel of the righteous? I ask you, is this the great nation our brothers and sisters gave their lives to save? You who call this living, dishonor the name of the immortal flames. it is but a slow death. Our enemies surround us. The savage hordes of the Amalja wait beside our roads,
Okay, I was saying that
strangling
pretty
the
good.
lifelines of trade.
Amalja.
Meanwhile, the Garleans make mock of our borders and despoil our land of its natural wealth. We stand on a precipice, yet we do not act. Whether trader or soldier, monetarist or royalist, all must recognize that a divided Ul'dah stands to fall. Victory and fortune walk hand in hand. Ye who seek glory and wealth, look not to what little you can snatch from your neighbor, but to the boundless wealth of the world beyond. Now is the time to unite. Now is the time to ride forth. In the name of the Sultana, I beseech you, line not your own coffers, but those of the immortal flames. Seek not to prosper from Ul'dah, but to restore her to prosperity. As the realm prospers, so shall Ul'dah. As Ul'dah prospers, so shall her people.
Ja for Ul'dah!
Together we are one.
Your Grace.
Rauban? People of Ul'dah, I, Nanamo, 17th in the line of Ul, address you. Much has been made of the wealth of Ul'dah. Yet those who measure that wealth in coins and carats are gravely deceived. For the true wealth of Ul'dah lies in the health, happiness, and hopes of her people. Beloved subjects, I bid you raise aloft the torch of Ul'dah, that her flames might serve as a beacon for all Eorzea to see.
Long live Nanamo!
Glory to the Sultana!
For victory and fortune, stride fearless into the Inferno, for we are, by fire, reborn!
I do like the symbol. I'm not convinced on their
Forsooth!
The time is now!
I believe in
presentation. The Uldans have a long history of conflict with Amalja, the beast tribe that worships the primal Ifrit. Judging by the look of distaste, I take you have encountered them. The Uldans do not shy from confrontation. If not threatens their precious prosperity, they will seek to crush it. They have dealt with Ifrit thus far, smothering his flames each time he stoked to life. Yet, he is but one of several problems, though they have been quiet these past 5 years. The Garleans have not gone away. Meanwhile, refugees come to arrive in droves, and Ul'dah has no clear policy to deal with them. After all, not even Sultanate's coffers are bottomless, and even assuming they had the coin, resources will be finite. Which brings me back to the subject of Ifrit. It has been observed that Amalja are summoning him with ever-increasing frequency. Every time they do so, the Uldans send their forces to smite the primal, and though they are invariable succeed, each victory is brought with blood. It is a war of attrition, which they cannot well sustain. Small wonder, then, the immortal flames are eager to recruit more members. Such desperate hour, an adventure of your expertise would be a most welcome addition to their ranks. For their sake, I hope the Flame General's words struck a chord with you. They did, but I was more impressed by the Gridanian presentation, to be 100% honest with you so far. So we'll see how well the Limsa...
The Garleans are another matter altogether.
So much for our alliance.
It's sunk beyond the seabed.
Brothers and sisters of the sea, hearken unto me. Look upon this, our mighty crimson standard, and tell me your hearts do not swell with pride. 700 summers have come and gone since our forefathers first ran aground in this fertile bay. In that time, guided by the Mother of Oceans, Limsa Lominsa has grown from humble fishing village to uncontested ruler of the 5 seas and beyond.
Did you look as the Admiral bid you? It is a rather stirring standard, I must say. The Crimson Field is meant to signify the blood of fallen crewmates, while the Black Longship represents a pirate vessel.
When the Garlean Empire marched upon Eorzea, we assembled beneath the Maelstrom Standard, and our Grand Company was reborn. All answered the call, from the Knights of the Barracuda to Hilthier's bloody executioners. And together, we met our would-be conquerors upon the field of Cartano. That day, the world bore witness to the united strength of Limsa Lominsa. I swear to you, no army ever fought harder or with more courage, yet many of ours did not survive. Join me now in remembering those who fought in the name of freedom and fell. May their souls be returned to the sea.
Freedom. Yes, they have always been rather fond of their freedom. Much as the beast tribes have. Small wonder. Beneath the surface, one would struggle to tell them apart.
It has been 5 long years since the calamity struck. 5 long years of tireless rebuilding. Yet still the wounds of the calamity fester and weep. But when I stand atop the mizzenmast and gaze out upon our battered and broken vessel, I see an undying spirit. Did we not build all this from the wreck of the Galadian all those centuries ago? Shall we not do so again? Yet there are those who would see this ship of ours sink beneath the waves of the restless Rotano. The Sahagin creep ashore seeking blood for their accursed god.
Those fishback
The Sahagin have risen?
While the mines of Ogomoro spew forth kobolds who push ever south, despoiling our lands as they go. These savage beast tribes will be the first waves to crash against our creaking hull. And behind them swells the grim tide of the Garlean Empire. Even now, the Curs fly their flags within our borders. Doubt not, but that they will be upon us ere long. We are well nigh surrounded. Yet there are those among us who would rather turn their swords against their crewmates than our cannons against our foes. How can we hope to repel our many enemies when mutiny breeds below deck? There is but one course left to us. One bearing that will bring us victory over the beast hordes and the Empire both, and see this ship safe to port. We must mend the rift the calamity has reopened twixt pirate and maelstrom, and stand fast with our adventurer brothers against the coming tempest. Mark ye well, a crew without unity is no crew at all. 'Tis but a mass of drowned men. To me, then, brothers and sisters of the sea, gather beneath the undying crimson standard, and pledge me your strength, your skill, your wisdom. And with the guidance of the navigator, this great vessel of ours shall ride the waves, till sea swallows all!
Long live the Admiral!
Remove them!
Gather the lads!
Oh, where's me cutlass?
I'll follow ye to the 7 hells, Admiral!
Like a normal captain that wants to go down with the ship. Interesting.
Fancy meeting you again.
As the Admiral mentioned in her address, Limso Lominsa has been plagued by 2 beast tribes. The first are the fish-like Sahagin, worshippers of the primal Leviathan, and the second are the kobolds who dwell beneath the earth and take the primal Titan for their god. As if the beast tribe's presence weren't troublesome enough, the Garleans have also chosen to erect a fortress right in the Lominsians' backyard. And that is to say not of internal strife. As a nation of pirates, there is no end to the blood feuds between the various factions, and while they fight amongst themselves, the Garleans whet their blades and watch. If the Lominsians are to have hope withstanding the Empire, they must first resolve their own affairs. Differences must be set aside and the primal threat dealt with once and for all. To this end, I expect that they will soon take decisive action against the beast tribes. Mark my words, the Maelstrom Standard will be drenched with a deeper shade of crimson ere long. That a capable adventurer like you would be a valuable addition to their crew is beyond question. Well, I'm unconvinced. I'm not... I was expecting more out of all 3 of these, I guess. Perhaps there's something I'm missing. None of them really just, like, wanted me to get behind them as a leader. You know what I meant? So... Nalia, this is Minfilia. You are well, I hope. Would I be correct in thinking that the final Remembrance service is now concluded? A moment ago you say, what a coincidence. Jesting aside, I trust that you remember our guests of the Grand Companies. Well delighted, though we are to have them here in the Waking Sands, it would not do to keep them in suspense any longer than necessary. In short, hurry back. So, I do have to turn this back. The Remembrance services were very good. I enjoyed them all. I thought they were nice. However, there's not a single one of them that really made me want to join them. If that was the speech for me for followers to want to join, not a single one of them really had me like really off my seat to be like, yeah, I want to go fight for you. So with that being said, I'm on the fence. I don't know exactly which to pick. So what I would like to do for the remainder of this episode is I would like for you guys to maybe comment, are there benefits over taking one versus another? I don't know what the differences are. They said that I can change it any time, so I'm really not too concerned about my decision. I'm leaning one way towards another, but I would be interested to know if there's benefits to have one versus another, or if I should pick one versus another based on outcomes that I maybe personally don't know about because this is my first time running through the game. So if you could leave some comments, I'd really appreciate it. And then maybe it might help us make our decision. I think I've already made my decision, but it would be nice to know if there's something that maybe there's things I don't know about in the future that it would be more beneficial for me to go one way versus another. And that would be nice to have. And being that this is my first playthrough for the game, I'm really kind of up to my own decisions to make what I think is the best for me. So I think I know what that is, but it would be interesting to know from you guys what you guys picked and how you've been liking it, or did you end up changing or any of that kind of stuff. So all right, friends, we have made it back to the sands, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to wait. I'm going to leave you on a cliffhanger here. I don't normally do that. Look at that guy. I want him. Oh, he's cool. He is awesome. I want him. I'm going to leave you on a cliffhanger. I'm not actually going to pick one. until the beginning of the next episode. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please leave your comments down below and let me know what the differences are between all of the grand companies. I would love to know. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Take care, everyone, and be well.